All right, well, good evening and welcome to this very special webinar. We are live on the Joy News Facebook page. You can also catch us live on the Joy News channel, and thank you so much for making the time to join us. This conversation is crucial. It might be the conversation that helps you make the smart decisions that make you a homeowner, or perhaps a real estate mogul if you already own a home. My name is Kojo Youngson. It's a pleasure to spend this time with you. Now, this roundtable discussion is on the topic home ownership, making smart decisions. And thank God for the smart people who are joining us for this conversation. Let's say good evening to Dorothy Ifwa Kwashi. Now, Dorothy is with Elegant Homes and General Construction Limited. Dorothy, what a pleasure to have you. Good evening. Right next to Dorothy is the man with the superhero name, David Max Fuga. He's a general manager for sales and customer service at Multimedia Group Limited. Of course, it's Multimedia Group that brings you the Ecobank Joy News Habitat Fair every single year. Always a pleasure to see you, Max Fuga.
Thank you, Kojo.
Now, right next to him is Mr. Aaron Lamptey. Aaron is the Plant Cities Extension Project representative. They are the ones who bring us cities and habitats. Cities and habitats are the ones that bring us the Plant City Extension Project. The way the brochure has been written. Aaron, it's nice to have you. Thank you so much for making the time.
See you too.
Excellent. All right, we have a lot to talk about.
Right.
Now, the theme is making smart decisions. The thing about home ownership is that it is a lifetime decision. It's one of those big landmarks in anybody's life. You can't afford to get it wrong. But it's very easy to get it wrong. It's easy to make the wrong decisions. All kinds of things have to be decided on. When to become a homeowner, how to finance it, where to locate it, what sort of materials to use, how to secure it. All kinds of things go into these decisions, and it's easy to get it wrong. So with the three of us together, let's start from the beginning, and taking advantage of the experience that your own products bring to bear, let's try and advise and educate people on how to make smart decisions. So let's start from the beginning, and I'll start with you, Dorothy, if you don't mind. I'm sure you get lots of people walking through your doors interested in becoming homeowners. You've talked to so many of them. You know the situation that they are coming from. Would you say there is a right time and a wrong time to become a homeowner?
Good evening, listeners, once again, or viewers. It's quite dicey when it comes to the decision of owning a property, because at every stage in a man's life determines what you want. Making that choice is quite difficult for many. Now, let's take somebody starting life. You are barely earning something very small. Can what you earn be able to own or buy a property or even build? So you will start by renting. But at a stage in life, when you decide you want to own a home, then the decision or the thought of financing becomes a challenge. How do I start? Do I go in for a mortgage? Do I buy? Do I build? What type of house am I looking for? Where do I want my house to be sited? These are the dicey situations or decisions that goes through every individual's mind. But there's that interesting part of it. We have an adage in account that says that a dime will you see what them. You can never gather money at a goal to buy, but you can always start from a point. Let's say if you decide to buy, where do you start from? Is it a single bedroom or two bedroom, or you want to buy at a goal? How do you finance it? Do you have the money seated down? Can your salary be able to afford? Or you want to buy? And then the sole decision lies with the individual. You know your income. You know how much you have saved. Do I go in for a mortgage? I have somebody who just spoke to me and told me, I don't want to pay interest, so I don't want to go in for a mortgage. And at the same time, you can also not afford to pay in cash. So where do you stand? If you decide to go in for the personal self-financing, which most of us developers give, it's between 1.5 years, maximum 2 years. And then anything beyond that, it means that you have to look to the bank for financing. So the question of owning a property has been one that is challenging to all of us. But if you want to make a smart decision, it means that you want to take advantage of opportunities that comes your way. And one of such opportunities is for you to come to fairs like this, inquire, know about the prices of properties, what goes into it, what materials are used, who are the financiers, and then you can make an informed decision now.
And I suppose at Elegant Homes, that's exactly the kind of advice that you've been giving your clients
Sure.
at the fair.
Sure.
So you've raised all the important questions about when to start, what your finances are, what the options are for you. When people come to Elegant Homes, what specific solutions are there for those who don't know whether it's time to start now or not?
What we do is quite interesting. Aside what we have available, the models we have available, we have terms of payment. And then we have custom-made houses. The custom-made houses are one that are tailored to suit the individual. So for example, if you come in and you don't want any of our existing models, then you can go in for the tailor-made service. The payment plans are about 3 or 4. One is the outright purchase. If you want to buy and pay in cash, you can do 50% and then pay the remaining within 6 months. If you also want to buy through mortgage, then we have our mortgage partners. Ecobank is one, Car Bank is one, Republic Bank is one, and any other financing bank that you work with, we can also deal with them. And then we have the personal self-financing. The personal self-financing is where you want to finance from your own pocket at your own space. That you can do 50%, you can do 20%, you can do 30%, but you have between 12 to 18 months to finish up, which sometimes is quite short for people. And so in that instance, we advise that you go in for mortgage. Speak to the financial partners, and they will assist you to buy a property.
Now, I'm going to save David Max Fuka for last and come to Aaron. Because, I mean, since we are talking about available solutions, I mean, the rent-to-own scheme is a very unique thing that is being done at your Pram Pram, estate. Talk us through how that allows people to start becoming homeowners no matter where they are in life.
Okay, before I touch on that, I wanted to add to what
Sure.
Madam said. So in trying to be smart in owning a home, we are forced between whether you want to build or you want to buy.
Yeah.
And in building, you are, you fall short of the expertise to build. Most people are afraid of building because they don't have the expertise. But when you draw to those who sell, they are able to bring together the expertise to put up buildings that will meet your requirement and will last longer. So these are some of the smart ways by which you can own your own home, getting close to those who are in the industry. And when you come to cities and habitats, we offer a payment plan that gives flexibility to the homeowner, so that looking at the cost of building, we give you up to 25 years, spread the cost of the building within that space. Looking at the smart way of getting a building, I look at 3 things. First, you may have to either defer the payment, or you share the cost, or you spread the cost. These are the 3 things you try to use to save yourself, so that you'll be able to mobilize funds to acquire a building. So when you are spreading the cost, it means that you are paying it within the 25 years cities and habitats is given to you. Then if you are sharing the cost, you're coming together with a partner or a co-applicant to be able to purchase the building. And then deferring, that is where we may want to consider the mortgages to be able to purchase a home. So these are the 3 points or 3 strategies that we can use to be smart in acquiring a home. And Cities and Habitats offers all these opportunity for you to spread your payment over 25 years and to also share the payment with a colleague so that you can own a home. And that makes it easier for people to acquire their homes.
Now, I deliberately saved David Max Fuga for last because I mean, you've been you've been doing this for so long now. You've seen all kinds of situations. You've seen all kinds of people. You've solved all kinds of problems. Now we're talking about making smart decisions. The Habitat Fair in itself is designed to help people make smart decisions. Talk us through some of the decisions that people have come here and made and been glad that this fair has been, has been there for them.
All right, thank you, Kojo. For me, making smart decisions when it comes to home ownership means that optimizing your resources. And let's start with, home ownership. For you to even think about home ownership, you need to have a plan. For me, that's the basic thing. You need to have a plan. I think Madam alluded to it. You need to have a plan. Without a plan, you should not even start it. So you need to have a plan. What you want to do. Which type of house you want to live in. Do you want to buy or you want to own? Or you want to rent and own? Rent to own. Okay, these are critical decisions. But having decided that, you also need to think about the source of funding. Then you come to the most critical parts. And this is one of the reasons why at the main fair this year, we are making some adjustments. You decide on where to live, the location. It is very important. And then once you decide the location, you think about land acquisition. And for me, it is one of the most difficult issues that I have encountered since we started organizing Habitat Fair. You have a lot of fraudsters in that system. You go and acquire land. If you are a lay person, you end up spending about 300% of the cost of the land on litigation.
Yeah.
So I would suggest that when it gets to that level, please seek expert advice. When it comes to land acquisition in Ghana, seek expert advice. Otherwise, you spend more on litigation. To be smart, seek expert advice. And one of the things that we are going to do at our other clinics and at the main fair is that we've spoken to one of the experts in land acquisition, in litigation, one of the top lawyers in Ghana. We set up a booth there to help advise people on land acquisition. So that is one. Now, having done the acquisition and having satisfied yourself that you've dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's, the next phase is that you are not an expert. And I think my colleague here mentioned it. You are not an expert. All that you need to do is that dream your house and get somebody to ink it for you. So once they ink it, go and look for a contractor or a developer. Let me use that word, a developer, to develop the house for you. You can negotiate and get a good deal because we are talking about smartness.
That's it.
Look, you cannot be penny wise and yeah, let me leave the other part. But in attempt to save money, you end up building that house at about 100% or 200% of the costs. Negotiate with a developer, a recognized and credible developer, and then let the person build for you. We can talk about the others. I'm sure I'll give my colleagues the opportunity to talk. But for me, the first thing is that have a plan. 2, think about the source of funding, whether you are going to use salary, whether you are going to take a loan, whether you are going to take salary advance from your company, whatever it is, have a plan that look, and then have a duration. I remember when I built my first house, I took some money added to my salary from a bank. Then I went for the second money. I mean, I paid off the first one. I went to the bank manager. I think it was called one Mr. Alote those days at SSB Tema Committee 2. He said, "Oh, Master, you want to build a house in 1 year? You can't. I will advise you. So you take your time, 4 years, 5 years, have a plan and build." It was a very good advice. So it was very helpful. You need to have that plan, and then you move to the next stage, that is acquisition. Whether you are buying or you are building, that's another one. If you decide to build your land acquisition, seek expert advice. When you are done with that and you want to do the building too, don't think that you are a foreman. You're not a foreman. You are not a foreman. You end up seeing cement bags that you paid for, but you see empty bags. Meanwhile, the cement has not been used.
Wow.
So get expert advice. Talk to a developer to start the work for you. So that would be my introduction.
Wow, and that's already a lot to think about. And it makes me start, thinking about the misconceptions that people come to this process with. So let's learn a little bit about that. Let's get some anecdotes. I mean, Aaron, you have people coming to you. I'm watching your stand here, and there are always people sitting in front of your consultants asking questions. So what are some of the common misconceptions that you find that people come to this home ownership process with?
Okay, when you come into this space, a lot of people have misconception, let me say, about the buildings. So first, the person doesn't know what he wants, but he wants to move into a house.
Right.
So they do not really know what exactly he wants, but want to move into the house. And then also, they don't know how much they are willing to spend within that space. So you look at the funding that the person has and the type of building the person wants to live in, and you wonder if the person really wants to have a roof over his head. So these are some of the things that they come in here, and then you will need to advise them on it. Some come and want to have a readily built house, but when you go to the specs in it, they expect that, oh, this should be wider, this should be smaller, this should have this in it. So definitely it comes in with some demands that he himself knows that, oh, at this point, that is not ready for you. So if you need something that to be built to your taste and specification, then you need to draw near to the developer so that that person can assist you and help you put up something to your taste. So these are some of the things that people come in and then they will want to help them with.
How about you, Dorothy?
Well, because what we do is quite defined. We are more into middle-income luxurious properties. So we have people who come to our place and they know exactly what they want. So they come in and they have their specs. Some even come to the extent to tell you, okay, I don't like your model. I want something specific to be done for me. And they can go on and tell you exactly, I want my space like this, I want this, I want that, and that. So those are the caliber of persons I meet. Mostly they know what they want. And for such people, it's quite easy to deal with them because they come prepared, they have budgeted, they are planning for their retirement home, they want a bit of space, they want this, and it's quite interesting, the kind of things people can come up with when they want something.
Yeah. A friend of mine is a mortgage advisor, and she tells me that, the people who are clearest in their mind of what they want are the ones who have the least resources. Someone came to her and said, first question was, look, why can't I get land in cantonments? It's like there's no land in cantonments. So they had this whole discussion about how you could possibly get some, buy some apartment block, apartments in cantonments and so forth. And then they started talking about the affordability, and the guy is on 1,500 cedis a month.
Oh.
But he knows what he wants.
Yes.
So I guess even that can be a misconception sometimes, when you know what you want but are not aware of what you can afford.
Yeah.
Max, you said something earlier. You said that making smart decisions is about optimizing resources. Talk to us about some of the ways or aspects of building, construction, home ownership in which your resources can be optimized through the Habitat Fair.
Yeah, so when we use Habitat for the Habitat Fair provides a platform for people to do one-stop shop. So you walk into any of our mini fairs or the main fair, you have those who are selling land. In fact, we've learned a few things, and so now we select people who are credible to be our exhibitors. And I know why Madam is laughing. Yeah, I mean, we once had an exhibitor who decided to dupe people, and we personally were involved in getting him arrested. Okay, the case is still in court. I mean, he's being prosecuted for. So, first of all, Habitat Fair provides that platform. You come and meet people who are into land acquisition. You come and meet developers. You You come and meet those who are doing the selling accessories. So security doors, security and accessories that goes with it. Roofing, one-stop shop for everything home ownership. And again, we're able to engage them to sell cheaper than what they will do if we walk into their offices. And so that is one of the things that Habitat First seeks to do, provide that one-stop shop for everything home ownership. And like I mentioned earlier, we've also noticed that there's a gap. That yes, people come in and then they don't know what to do. They need that legal advice on what to do and what not to do. What documents to look for in acquiring either a land or a house. And so we have added on. So there'll be a law firm, for some good reason I'll mention the law firm, but it's one of the top lawyers in Ghana. There'll be a law firm at the next fair to also cover or provide that services that we identify that it's a gap. And so that gap will be covered by that law firm. Added to that, we are bringing in the Lands Commission people to also set up.
Very good.
I was
Very
willing
important.
to give them, bring them in at a concessional rate. They are not going to pay what everybody else is paying because we want them there. We've identified that that's also a gap. And so the Lands Commission will be there at our next fair, and we have the legal people too, so that we have a 360 solution to everything house. So Habitat there provides that 360 solution. Now I can confidently say that we are in position to provide that 360 solution to everything home ownership.
Now, if you just joined us, this is our webinar. We're talking about home ownership, making smart decisions. It's all about making smart decisions. Everybody makes a decision or two in this process, but are they all smart? That's what we're trying to tackle here. Our guests are helping us navigate this conversation. Dorothy Efuakwashi is from Elegant Homes and General Construction Limited. Aaron Lamte is from Cities and Habitats. They are the ones behind the Planned Cities Extension Project. And of course, our very own General Manager of Sales and Customer Service at Multimedia Group, David Max Fuga. So we've already figured out that making smart decisions is about optimizing resources. Now, one aspect of this, one of the decisions to be made in constructing a home or even working with a developer to have your home constructed is materials. What building materials? Now, I've noticed that it seems in Ghana there's only one option: cement. That's it. Everywhere you go, everyone is building with cement. But you guys are in the field. I mean, help me understand. Is that it? Is that the only way to build a house? What about bricks? What about this hydro foam or whatever is coming up? What are the options out there available through you as vendors and just available on the market for anyone who wants to collaborate with you to build their home? I'll start with you, Aaron.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the materials available for construction are enormous. The only challenge you have is with the demand of the client. Most people are familiar with cement and block building. So if you introduce something new, and since they are not familiar with it, they will start pushing back or heckling you in that regard. So there are other forms of building, as you brought in the brick aspect, and then the styrofoam also is there. Some also raise questions about the security of that, if a car should run into it and all that. So it makes it difficult for clients to buy into that. They will accept something that is tried and tested. And that is how the Ghanaian is, or most normal human being thinks that if this has been built, I've seen it and it's nice, why don't I buy the same thing? So most of the offerings we are given is with blocks, with cement, which the client will tell you, this is what I want. It's funny, when we started building, we tried to put in the apartments so that and that is what you have to put down or put up for this client. So these things are mostly with the consideration of the client, and they inform most of the things that you see coming up as development. So there are different opportunities and different type of materials that we can use to build. But the one coming to purchase, who has the power, who determines what you put up, says, I want this one, and that is what you have to down or put up for it.
So I mean, I'm hearing that is the most commonly demanded material for building.
Yes.
But if somebody wants something else,
Yes.
can they be accommodated?
Yes, it can really be accommodated because we are open to meet the need and demand of the client. So we open up even with our building, the style and all that. When you come, we sit down. If there are some tweaking we have to do within, some may not want blocks, they want glass so that you will see the next space. That is also given to you to make your choice. Some may not want maybe tiles. I want this, what do you call it?
Hydrofoam.
Yes, or maybe they would want screeding, just screeding on the ground. You do that for the person because that is what the person is demanding, and the person is going to own that home for the rest of his life. So most at times there's flexibility with what the client wants, and then the cost is valued to meet that demand that you make.
All right, what about you guys at Elegant Homes?
Well, it's the same thing. As Aaron said, the client is the final decider. So you wouldn't want to do anything that people will not buy. My experience also shows that most people do not even want a semi-detached house. Everybody who comes wants a self-compound. And they have their tastes. And once you are building for people to buy, obviously, you wouldn't want to build something that you want, but what the client decides. Well, at Elegant Homes, we have our models. We have different house types, different designs that we sell. But even in the midst of all these nice designs that we have, you will still have people who will come and tell you, I don't want any of these designs. I want something specifically to be done for me. So we give clients the option to bring your own design, or we design something for you, or you can choose any of our models and have it customized. And then they have the options to choose their finishes. They choose their tiles, they choose this, and some even go to the extent of even importing themselves what they want. So it tells you the customer plays a vital role in the choice and the types of houses and materials that we use.
David, I mean, talk to us about the market itself. Is it that, these other building materials are just more rare or more expensive? What is it that makes, because this thing about if a car crashes into my house, dear, I don't know whose primary, decision-making factor in building a house is how it will survive car crashes, But I mean, clearly, that's what some people worry about.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, what is the market saying? Why is it that it seems only one, material is so predominant? Nobody even wants to consider others.
All right, Kojo, I think that those who are providing those alternatives are really not promoting and marketing it well. For me, that's it. Because if you have alternatives to cement, and you are not marketing it, it's a cultural thing. We all grew up knowing, concrete, cement. A house, there should be cement, not wood. So when we go elsewhere, it is wood, 90% wood or 70% wood. But here, I mean, the society will not even, look at the type of house it's building. Okay. So I think it's a marketing issue, it's a promotion issue. I don't want to talk about pricing, but generally I think that it's a promotion issue, that the people who are into that space have not done themselves any good and have not done society any good, because they don't promote it, they don't get society to accept those things. By and large, if even 30% or 40% of our population get to accept alternatives to cement, I am sure that cost of building will be cheaper. But because everybody else is in that space and those people are not promoting it well, I mean, it's become like a virtual monopoly. Everybody who wants to build wants cement. Concrete houses. But the options. There's the hydrofoam guy. I know we've done something with them before, but again, they didn't go far. people have other options. People came in with, I don't know, currently one of our clients, multimedia clients, is into a cheaper option. Okay, using wood, etc., etc. And the cost is very cheap. But unfortunately, people are skeptical about the quality, even though he's offering a 30 years warranty or something. But again, people are skeptical because, I mean, how sure are we? It's a new thing. So
They think
the
wood
promotion
means it's
thing,
a hut.
The credibility thing is very important. Those who are promoting it, I mean, those who are bringing those options, are they credible guys? Can they be trusted? And number two, are they themselves promoting it so that we can trust the product and invest in it? And I'm sure if we do it well, and even the small percent of the population accepts it, I mean, it will cascade to everybody else. But once they are not doing it themselves, we are doubtful of the quality, we are doubtful of the product they are offering. Nobody wants to invest in it. So it's a marketing problem. Once they are not doing it themselves, it's a marketing. We are doubtful of the quality.
It's
So
interesting.
Let me chip in. I've had instances where people have come, and it will surprise you that they actually hit on the building and tell you that, this is solid.
This is proper
This is
concrete.
proper concrete. This is yes,
Proper cement.
this is not like the one we are used to over there. And so when you have people coming in with this, how then do you move to go and build something else? They hit it like this, stand at the back and say, wow.
Imagine.
It's a perception issue
That
that must be corrected by the promoters of those alternatives. It's a perception issue.
I mean, if you think about it, you go to other parts of the world, in the United States, they build with wood and it survives hurricanes.
Yes.
Hurricane.
Yes.
There will never be a hurricane in Ghana
In
touching
Ghana.
wood or whatever.
Yeah. I see.
But you know, we still think that we have to build with cement so it can
Yes.
withstand our
And they hit
punches.
it like this.
Wow.
Sometimes I believe that the poor man builds with wood. So
Uh-huh.
the rich man who will build with the cement.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yes,
It's
the
a
perception.
It's a perception
Perception.
game, and
Yeah.
we need to change it. And so maybe we'll count on some of you in the media
To build with wood. so that
Try
people-
it.
Yeah.
Try it first. And when you survive it, then
I mean, can you imagine
Oh, elegant.
Kojo Jackson,
Put one up for me.
Kojo Jackson living in a wood house, okay? Built his house,
Yes.
3-bedroom.
That's right. Yeah.
Society, everybody will change.
I love
There'll
it.
be a change.
Yeah. Elegant homes. Will you build one for me? And I'll be promoting it every day.
So maybe I'll start for you.
No, but it's a perception thing that we need to work on.
Yeah, I think you're right. Now, I mean, speaking of perception, I mean, when people are new to the construction
Yeah.
process, when they are new to home ownership, whether buying or building, they often imagine that, look, once you start, you just keep build every month. You put money in, you build, and then before you know it, you are done. If not for the SSB man who advised you, you probably might have thought the same.
yes.
Many people start with that idea, but everybody stops at some point.
At some
Everybody
point.
stalls at some point. I'm interested in that. In your experience, at what stage do people stop the most?
Okay, so when you look at the packages we are offering, most at times you pay gradually, and then when you pay 30%, you move into the building, and then you continue paying the 70%. So mostly when clients come to sit in front of me, I tell them to look beyond the 30%, because most Ghanaians just look at when I'm getting access to my building. And the little we learn about assets and liability, they are the same thing, but how you manage it. You understand? So it's not that an asset is something different, liability is something different. But how you manage it, the individual manage that particular item you have, become an asset or a liability. So similarly, it's difficult living in the place and continue paying where other costs are pulling you. But when the cost of having something over your head was what was pulling you most, you be consistent with your monthly installment. So those are some of the challenges when the person comes in. They don't look at which you as a developer need to open the person's eye to, so that they know that it is not just a 100-meter dash when you are going to build a house, but it's a marathon that you are taking. So you take it a step at a time, and then even look at factors that can join in. So if people come in, I am 60 years, can I join your package? You're like, yes, 60 years. You have a beneficiary, you have a son who will inherit from you. So when you look at building for yourself and you reach rental level, when you die, your son will come and continue. So why don't you rather take this opportunity, get into it with your 30%, which can get you to the lentil level, and then your child will come and continue still living within that space. So these are some of the things that we offer or advice we give to them so that they understand what you are putting your hand into, because you don't put your hand into the plow and look back.
And how about you, Dorothy? At what point do people throw their hands up?
For us, in fact, full payment before you move in.
Uh-huh.
So we don't
No
want
hand
to.
throwing.
No. So once you start, you see, depending on your terms of payment, if you want to do the personal self-financing, we know at every stage, the contract states at every stage how much you should pay. So we start from scratch. We know we are starting on this day and ending, and you have your payment schedule. So we have never had those kind of, even if at a point you feel you are kind of cash strapped, we still want you to come back, talk to us, let us know, and if we have to move you onto the mortgage scheme, we can advise you that to speak to the mortgage partners to help in completion for you. But the bottom line is full completion, full payment before we hand over to you.
Now, I'm glad Max is here because you have built, you have done it, gone through the process yourself. So for those who are watching, who are thinking of that option, they have your experience to follow. There are so many stages.
Yeah.
First land acquisition,
Yeah.
then foundations. Then at some point you have to think of utilities. Then you start your blocks, you do your wiring, you do your roofing, you do your decoration. All these things happen step after step after step. What's the most expensive step?
Finishing.
After the lentil level.
That's when it becomes.
Yes, that is when it hits you. The reality does on you, whether you continue or not. The foundation, once you are done with the land acquisition. And again, let me just repeat that land acquisition, get expert advice. I have occupied the land for 10 years. Then out of the blue, somebody came and said, she's the owner.
Used to.
And we spent about 3 years at the CID headquarters, property fraud office, and we are back in court. Then another person comes and says half of the properties. So I asked myself, well, if I had sought advice from day one, I would be in this trouble. So that one is there. But once you sorted it out, you start a foundation, it's not too difficult. You start a block works, it's not difficult. When you get to the lentil level, that is when you see your level.
And the finishing.
Yes, you see your lentil level. You see your level at the lentil level.
Wow.
But then, once you're able to mobilize it, the finishing is one of the most expensive parts. The finishing is one of the most. You see, people push you. Once you have done the roofing, you are fine, you can do this. Chief, that is when you fail it. And if you're not very careful, like he's saying, you may give up for your children to come and continue. So, for me, the most expensive part of building is when you get to the lentil level. Moving from lentil to completion is expensive. And then once you are done with the roofing, the finishing, the small electricals and all those you need to do, the tiling, the bathroom, and all those things.
Painting.
They are the most expensive part. You will not consider them, but they will hit you more than even the foundation level. So these two stages are very important. And so when you are building or you decide to build, you know that when you are done with the foundation, blocks works. Once you are done foundation blocks, people will encourage you. Go and buy 5,000 pieces of blocks, you are fine. But from the lentil to the final, and then when you are done with the full building, the finishing, that is expensive part. So you need to make provision for it.
Now,
I'm speaking for you.
Some people buy land somewhere,
Yeah.
middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
and then they build there, and then they try to bring utilities to it, water and all that. Crazy idea, yes. But some people do that. The two of you build estates, so you have to bring utilities there yourselves. Recently, we were told that Saglemi is going to cost them $30 million to bring water there. Is that how expensive it is?
Yeah, it is. You see, sometimes when you are out there, you don't know how it feels like. Myself, I didn't know how construction is and all that goes into it till I joined. There's a lot. It's capital intensive. You get it. Pulling water, bringing electricity and all the infrastructure, the road is a lot. It can even deter you. And those are the things you need. Nobody will do it for free. You have to buy your own poles sometimes. And let's say if you have to even pull from a 4-kilometer to where your estate is, everything is on you.
Which is why it makes sense to just collaborate with organizations
Developers.
like yours, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
certainly, because it's really capital intensive when you are getting in these utilities in there. Because even pulling the officials to come and fix and lay and fix the lines and all that is another headache that you have to go through, because they will come if you don't have good supervision, you realize that the work will stall, and then they will give you excuses every day and every night. So these are things that really, this is the main reason why building yourself is challenging. It's not a smart move at all now, and it's this current dispensation. It's not smart.
It's not a smart decision. All right, well, that was the theme of our conversation, home ownership, making smart decisions. It's a roundtable conversation, and we have about 30 seconds to go. So we're going to go round the table in our roundtable and get everybody's final thoughts. If there's one thing you want people to take away from this conversation, what will it be? And I'll start with you, Aaron.
Okay, so from this table, as I indicated earlier, to be smart, then you need to share the cost, you need to defer the cost, and then you need to spread the cost so that you'll be able to have enough money to be able to acquire your building and also do other things. That is
Dorothy.
what I'll share.
Yeah, I'll say that to be smart, you have to take advantage of the opportunities that are available. There are a lot of developers. Elegant Homes is there. There's no need to say that, oh, the estates are not providing what you want. I always tell people that if you have the cash, you can get what you want. If you any design of your choice, once you can afford, come to us, and then you will smile.
David Max Fuga.
Yeah, Koyo, taking smart decisions or being smart is optimizing your resources. And the best way to optimize your resources is to visit Joy News Habitat Fair,
Simple
where
and
we have
easy.
everything on
Covered.
location for you. So
Covered.
you take our decision and you have the options, so you can make a smart decision. So make a smart decision by visiting Joy News Habitat Fair.
Thank you for boiling it tougher for us. And thank you all for watching and enjoying our webinar. We're so glad you could make it. You've been listening to the smart contributions of Dorothy Efwakwashi from Elegant Homes and General Construction, Aaron Lamte from Cities and Habitats, creators of the Planned Cities Extension Project, and our very own David Max Fuga, General Manager, Sales and Customer Service, and Multimedia. My name is Jackson. It's always a pleasure. Until the next Habitat Fair, have a fantastic time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure. Until the next Habitat Fair, have a fantastic time.